Yes, I know, you have seen thousands of videos with exactly the same title. How to become a millionaire, how to become rich. I think that how to become rich is the most searched sentence in Google. And in those thousands of videos, they present you many different ways to become rich or to become a millionaire. Whether that is crypto trading, day trading, forex trading, or drop shipping, or affiliate marketing, whatever that may be. But what I'm going to talk about today is a little bit different. And everybody says that their video is different, but here it's different because what I'm going to present you is a guarantee. It's a foolproof way to become a millionaire. If you apply it, your probabilities of succeeding are 100%. It's a guarantee. And another reason why it is different is because it's a very boring method. It doesn't have all the charm and the glamour of the other methods. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the other methods are bad, quite the opposite. But what I'm going to show you here is extremely simple, but it's boring because it takes time. So you've been warned, in this video there's no exciting stories of people becoming millionaires overnight, but this method works 100% of the time. And if you're interested about something that works 100% of the time, this video is made for you. Let's dive in. But before we get started, please hit the subscribe button down there and activate the notification bell to never miss a new video. Alright, now let's get down to business. Let me present you the method that is going to turn you into a millionaire with 100% success rate. And now I just realized that I don't have any name for this specific method. And if we want things to stick into people's mind, they must have a specific name. So let me think of a name. Let's call it the straight line formula. No, the straight line system. That's better. But before you understand the straight line system, you need first to understand the power of compounding. The power of compounding can make your wealth grow exponentially because when you invest a specific amount of money, you get a return out of this money, whether it is interest, dividends, rental income, or whatever that may be. And whatever you got from this investment, you reinvest it again. And with time, that is where the power of compounding happens, you're going to gain what is interest over interest. But I know all of that sounds a little bit confusing, so let me give you an example to really show you the power of compounding. Let's assume that you invested $100 into any kind of investment. Let's say it's a stock. And the stock gives you 10% per year. And let's assume that you receive those 10% cash in the form of dividends. This whole scenario is not very realistic, but it's okay. It's just for the example. Now that you invested this $100, you're going to receive $10 each and every year because it's a dividend, right? And there you have two options. You can spend this $10 that you just received, or you can reinvest it again into the same stock. If you spend those $10, well, your wealth is going to remain the same. It's going to remain $100. But the power of compounding happens when you reinvest those $10. Look at what happens when you reinvest those $10. The next year after you made the initial investment, your wealth is now $110 because you reinvested the $10 you received. And in year number 2, the next year, you're not going to receive only $10. You're going to receive $11 because it is 10% of $110. You see, in that case, you received $10 from the initial investment, but you also received an extra dollar. This extra dollar is the compounding. It is the interest that you gained from the interest. And again, you're going to take those $11 and you're going to reinvest it again into the same stock. And again, 1 year later, you're going to receive $12.1 and you're going to reinvest it again. Now, your wealth is $133.1. So when I tell you that compounding is really powerful, you might have some doubts. You might think that waiting 3 years to gain only $3.1 is not really worth it. But the thing to remember about compounding is that it is exponential. It grows very slow at the beginning, but then with enough times, it grows very, very fast. Just like a snowball. Imagine a snowball that you throw in a slope, in a snowy slope. At the beginning, it's very small, it grows very slowly, but at a moment it becomes huge. It's a snowball effect. It's exactly the same thing with compounding. It's the snowball effect. So now let's see what happens 10 years later. After 10 years, those $100 that you invested turned into $259. It more than doubled in just 10 years. After 15 years, it is $417. After 20 years, $672. After 25 years, it's already $1,083. It multiplied by 10 already. And after 30 years, it is $1,744. We could go on and on and on, but there you see very clearly now the power of compounding. It grows very slowly at the beginning and it grows very fast later down the road. So you probably understood that a key element of the compounding power is time. And there you see the magic of compounding. After an initial investment of $100, it turned into $1,744 after 30 years. Now that you know everything you need to know about the power of compounding, I can reveal to you the straight line system. The straight line system is elegantly simple and effortless. Every same day of the month, for example, every 14th day of the month, you invest a predetermined amount of money into the same investment every single month. It means that you invest, for example, $100, $500, $1,000 or $2,000, the amount that you want and that you can afford into the same investment every 14th day of each and every month for your entire life. And which investment, you might wonder? Well, I suggest to you that you invest into an ETF of the MSCI World. So let me explain all of that. The MSCI World is what we call an index. An index is like a basket of many shares of many companies. For instance, in the case of the MSCI World, it is many companies of the entire world. And an ETF is simply the financial instrument that allows you to invest into this big basket with many shares. If you invest $100 in an ETF that represents the MSCI World Index, you just invested $100 into this big basket with shares from all throughout the world. And that's it. That was the straight line system. Every 14th day of the month, you invest a predetermined amount of money into an ETF that represents the MSCI World Index. And you invest this predetermined amount of money the same day into the same investment, no matter what happens. No matter if the markets are crashing, no matter if the markets are booming, no matter if there is a war in Ukraine, no matter if there is inflation, no matter if there is a new COVID-19 pandemic, no matter what happens, you stick to this habit. With a straight line system, you're going to use the power of compounding and the power of consistency. But now I have to give you some bad news. The straight line system, as I said in the beginning, takes time. If you want to become a millionaire with a straight line system, you will have to be very patient. You will have to wait for decades. In this table, I will show you how much money you will have made by using the straight line system, depending on the age you started doing the straight line system, and also the amount of money that you committed every single month to the straight line system. And to be fair, this table is fairly conservative. In real life, you might get better results. But also what I want to tell you here is that here I assume that you commit to the straight line system up until the moment you retire. Here I assume at 65 years old. All of that being said, you can see in this table that if you start at 25 years old and you commit $500 each and every month to the straight line system, in other words, you invest $500 each and every month into an ETF of the MSCI World Index, by age 65, you will be a millionaire. You will have a wealth of almost $1,200,000. Now, let's assume that you started a little bit later. Let's assume that you started at 40 years old. But since you're 40 years old, you can commit more money to the straight line system, since I assume you're making more money at 40 than what you were making at 25. So if you commit $2,000 each and every month to the straight line system, even if you start at 40, you're gonna end up at 65 with $1.5 million. And even if you start at 45, and you commit 2,000 per month to the straight line system, you will be almost a millionaire by retirement. And as you can see, the soonest you start, the more you commit to the straight line system, the better results you're gonna get. I invite you to download this table. There will be a link in the description to my website so you can download it, print it, and look at it every single day so you can remind yourself of the importance of committing to the straight line system, because the straight line system needs time and it needs commitment. So that's it for the straight line system. There's nothing else you need to do. And as promised, it is a very low effort method, because investing into an ETF once per month is going to take you maximum 10 minutes per month. So you can see it's a very low effort. And of course, maybe it's not the kind of thing that you want to hear. You don't want to wait to be 65 to be a millionaire, but it works 100% of the time. Another cool thing with the straight line system is that you can forget about everything else. You can forget about analyzing stocks, timing the market to find the right moment to speculate, to buy and sell, to watch the financial news every single day. You can forget about giving your money to professional asset managers, because they're not going to give you better results and they're going to have much higher fees. And you can also forget about retirement plans, social security, 401ks, and all of that. Because the reality is, those things are only a safety net. They're not meant to be the base of the pyramid. They're just a safety net in case everything else goes wrong. So you can completely forget about those things and don't rely on them. And also about 401ks and those kind of things, I don't know where you're watching this video, but in your country there must be an equivalent of the 401k. For example, here in Switzerland, it's called le troisième pilier, the third pillar. But the thing about those type of things is that they're just bad. I think that all the insurance brokers that are watching this video are going to dislike the video and unsubscribe. But whatever, the truth is more important. And also with a straight line system, you can forget once and for all about the bad idea of saving money. You maybe heard the sentence that savers are losers. And it's harsh, but it's a reality. And let me give you an analogy here of the problem with savings. Imagine that you buy a cow, all right? Your cow is your savings. You buy this cow and you don't do anything with it. You don't kill the cow to then sell the meat, or you don't milk the cow to then sell the milk. You just have your cow that is right there, doing nothing, getting older, losing value. And that's exactly what happens with your money when you just save it. Just keep it in your bank account, it's not doing anything, and it's losing value because of inflation. Inflation is like, the sun against the snow. It's slowly melting the real value of your savings. So really, no matter the situation, saving money without investing it is a bad idea. And in the opposite, if you invest this money with the straight line system, for example, when you take the money and invest it, it's like taking the cow and milking the cow to sell the milk. It's a no-brainer. It's much better to invest the money that you saved instead of just saving it for the sake of saving. And I know there are other objections out there. You might wonder if this method is not too risky because you're putting all the money into stocks, and stocks are unstable and risky, right? So yes, stocks are unstable and risky, but that's not the entire story out of it. First of all, with the straight line system, we take the risk away for two reasons. The first one is that we diversified. We have invested in the MSCI World Index. It is diversified in many industries, many companies, in many continents, in many countries. So we take a lot of the risk away by diversifying. And also, we take the risk away with time. Time takes all the risk away from stocks. Time takes all the risk away from stocks. Because here's a reality. I don't know what the stock market is going to do tomorrow. I cannot predict it. And actually, nobody can predict it. People who pretend they can predict the stock market tomorrow, well, they're liars. But I digress. The thing is, it's impossible for anybody to predict what the stock market is going to do tomorrow, in 1 week. It's going to be extremely difficult to predict what it's going to do in 1 year, 2 years. But when we're talking about the kind of time frame that we're talking about with the straight line system, we're talking about 10, 15, 20, even 40 years. I can tell you with a lot of accuracy what is going to be the stock market performance. I can tell you very precisely how much money you're gonna make with stocks if we're talking about 20 years. I can tell you that with almost 100% certainty also. I can tell you stocks are going to give you around 7 to 8% per year in the long term, in average. That is taking into account the big booms, the big crashes, the bear markets like the one we're living right now in 2022. If we take all of that into account, in the long term, it's going to give you 7 to 8% per year. And that is all about the straight line system, because we're taking so much time, the time frame is so long that we're taking all the risk of stocks out of the equation. So no, stocks are not risky on the very long term, and the straight line system is extremely safe. And also something else, I don't want to discourage anybody to pursue other type of strategies like more riskier or more exotic strategies. Like for example, if you really want to be into drop shipping, do it. If you really want to be into day trading, well, do it. If you want to invest more aggressively into an undiversified portfolio, by all means, do it. Take risks, learn from it, and reap the rewards of it. But I also suggest to you that you commit, even so, to the straight line system, that you keep the base solid. The straight line system is going to be like this mattress that is going to keep you solid and grounded, and that if everything else fails, well, you can rely on this mattress. You can rely on the straight line system to turn you into a millionaire in worst case scenario by age 65. That's totally what I do also. I commit a certain amount to the straight line system to really keep the base solid, and the rest of the money, well, it's more like play money. It's money that I use to do riskier things and more risque things, and maybe I reap the rewards, maybe not, but the base is solid. And I know I'm insisting a little bit on that, but the straight line system is really made for everybody. Even you, if you don't want to do any kind of effort into investing or other entrepreneurial activities, you just want to go to your 9-to-5 jobs and then indulge into your hobbies in your free time, well, the straight line system is also perfect for you, because it's really the lowest effort approach. Every 14th day of the month, you invest a predetermined amount of money into the same thing over and over again. No analysis, no effort. It takes you maximum 10 minutes per month, and you see the results are great, the results are guaranteed. So even by doing really no effort at all, by keeping your 9-to-5 jobs and committing to the straight line system, you can become a millionaire by retirement. Now, if you're still with me at this stage of the video, well, congratulations, because here I'm going to answer a very important question that really nobody answers, that really nobody asks this question, nobody thinks about it, no financial planner, no financial guru on the internet, nobody really talks about it. But once you commit to the straight line system, you arrive at 65, maybe you have 2 millions, or maybe you're younger and decide to retire at 45 with only 1 million. Now that you got all that money, you sold all your investments, you got all that cash into your bank account, you might wonder, what the hell do I do now? I think it's an important question to answer, because I think many people get it wrong. Even financially savvy people, people who invested through the straight line system or through other ways, they get all that money when they retire, and then they just keep that money and they use it little by little until death or until they decide to not spend it anymore. But they just have it at the bank account and they just spend it. It's like a sausage that you cut each piece a little bit every single day, and the sausage gets smaller, smaller and smaller until it disappears. I think this approach doesn't work very well, because when you retire, you don't know how long you're gonna live, right? And also, more likely than not, you have children and you want to leave something to your children. You want to leave some kind of legacy. And it's a pity that you have worked all your life with the straight line system, you get all that cash and to just spend it. So I think that when you arrive to that stage that you get all that cash, the idea now is to invest it not into the straight line system, because it already accomplished its goal, but you have to invest it into something that is going to give you passive income, something that is going to put money into your bank accounts consistently. So when you get all that cash from the straight line system, you get 1 million, 2 million, or whatever that may be, you take that money and you purchase a real estate asset or several real estate assets, and they're going to give you passive income. And let's be conservative and let's assume that the real estate in itself is going to give you 5% per year. It's 5% per year into your bank account, cash. So let's say that you've been diligent with the straight line system and that you have $2 million when you retire. You invest those $2 million into real estate that are going to give you, let's say, 5% per year, is going to give you $100,000 per year of passive income without doing anything, cash into your bank account. You'll be the judge, but in my opinion, it's a much better approach to reinvest all that money into real estate. In that case, those $2 million are going to give you $100K per year, than just using $100K per year of those $2 million during 20 years, and then there's nothing left. Nothing left for you if you're still alive, and nothing left for your children if you have children. Let's take the cow analogy again. You worked so hard during all those years to gather all those cows, and you're not acquiring any new cows anymore because you're not committing anymore to the straight line system, and you're killing those cows to sell the meat. Progressively, you take one cow, you kill it, you sell the meat. So it's gonna work for you for a while, as long as you have cows, but one day you're gonna run out of cows and you won't have any more cows, you won't have any more meat to sell, you won't have anything to sell, you won't have any more money. So it's better to instead keep the cows and milk the cows instead of killing the cows and selling the meat, if you see what I mean. Because it's gonna give you an endless supply of income, of cash, well, as long as you live, and then later for your children. So remember my suggestion, once the straight line system has done its job, it is completed, you take all that money to reinvest it into real estate to get passive income out of it. And then you just enjoy life.